Fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. Yes, there is always a grain of truth in any kind of fiction that we read. And today we have with us an author of fiction novels par excellence. Welcome Sthitaprajna Debadutta Kar to Sip and Talk with Vikram.
Good evening, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Mr. Kar, as you know, Sip and Talk with Vikram is a channel on YouTube which promotes all kinds of arts. And yes, we have begun with authors. And as I say, if you have a craft, show it to me, I will show it to the world. So you have created a beautiful craft, a novel, a suspense thriller novel. And we are going to talk about that in a while. Welcome to Sip and Talk with Vikram viewers. This is Vikram, your host for the day. And those who are watching me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified. Do post in your comments if you are liking any part of the discussion that is going on. So, Mr. Kar, describe yourself as the real person that you are.
So, as a person, I would like to say that I'm introverted. I was a sick child, so I had a very protective childhood. I had an abundance of motherly love. My mother, my grandmother, my aunts, my sister, even some of my classmates, they were very protective and they had this supervisor eyes on me. Okay, it was only when I went to Delhi for my first job that I opened up. Okay, and in my school days, I lagged in my oratory skills. I would constantly stammer and stutter while talking. So to compensate that, I tried to excel in my writing skills. But even in the childhood, I was a very imaginative child, waving stories all the time. If I have to compare myself with a fictional character, it would be Veera from the Open Window. If you have heard, if you have read the story from the Saki, H.H. Munro. So right now, I'm a person living my childhood again. Okay, so I'm reliving my childhood, imagining things and write storytelling in a different way.
That's so fortunate and so, so lucky you are that you got all that attention and love, not only from the family, but from the people around. And I'm sure all these things also help you weave stories because you have, the more people you interact with, the more stories that you get to weave around with you. So this novel that we are talking about and you're going to launch very soon, uh, I think you are launching it on the 19th
19th
of this
Sunday,
month,
yeah.
yeah, 19th of September. So good luck to you for that
Thank you,
launch
sir.
that is going to come up. But pre-launch, let us have an interaction with you about your novel and about you as an author so that people know you more. So what was the genesis behind this novel? How did you come across this kind of a story? I have read it. It is very intriguing.
So the idea of the story came from few news reports that happened between 2012 to 2016. I had this idea in mind, but it was not before the first shutdown, that is the February of 2020. I decided to act on it. Okay, now everybody was joining some online course. So I also joined a course in fiction writing from Michigan University through Coursera. Now this course was joined by almost 15,000 people from all across the world. Okay, the course was simple yet very taxing. They would require us to write more than 500 words in a day, not less than 500 words in a day. And on Saturdays, you have to read it for 5 times and edit it for yourself. and Sunday you post it, and you open it for the scrutiny of peers, and you are required to review 5 other people in your other peers, the work of other peers, and in turn they will also review your. It may not be same people, but a lot of people were there, so it is exposed to a lot of people. And I was exposed to writings from all across the world, all kind of writings, starting from witches to aliens, from mass murders to romantic journeys, even erotica. I mean, lot of people wrote lot of things. So you have to read, you are exposed to lot of these genres of literature, and it was eye opener. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish the course because I lost my father in midway,
Oh, that's so
and
sad.
yeah, I contacted virus also. So, but while doing that, I already had 10 chapters of the book, 8 to 10 chapters of the book. And when I recovered from the virus, I took it forward, and we have a book.
That's a beautiful genesis of this novel that you have written, and with so much of high level of interaction with authors from all around the world,
Yeah,
and being exposed to so many genre of writing. It certainly clarifies your thoughts and gives you a lot of boost in your own writing skills. And good that you did that. Okay. So now, in your story, you have a mainline story. I'm not revealing the story right now before your book launch, but there is a mainline story, and there are various subplots in that story, which uh, which adds a different flavor every time. Every page is a revealing of a new subplot. It's a massive page turner. So, how do you weave this kind of several subplots? Are they all inspiration from real life incidents that you bring into your novel together, or how is it? How do you do that?
as I told you, the framework was based on some news stories, that is real life stories, but subplots are imaginative. As I told you, I'm an imaginative person. So when I take up a character, I weave a story around it, and then edit it or cut it and paste it little, so that the story looks like a proper subplot. No, it's not that yeah, uh, whatever you write or whatever read, whatever you see, whatever the experience, the environment around you, certainly give some input to your writing, but nothing in particular that I have taken it from somewhere or thing like that.
And you have brought in very powerful characters in your story. Each of them appears as if this character wasn't there, the story would not have been complete. And there are so many characters that you keep bringing, from time to time, and like you never expected that character to appear, but when that character appears, the story takes a new turn. So how do you characterize like that? Do you characterize them beforehand, that you are going to use this character at a particular place, or do you start building the character as the story progresses?
So I build the character as the story progress.
Oh.
In fact, like the great Kalidasa told, that the Saraswati, goddess Saraswati, told him to write something. So it is like in the process, these characters came, and I gradually developed them. Only one character that I intentionally put in the book, that was of the assassin uh, who uh, tried to kill Adyasa in the graveyard, and that character was based on a character from, if you have seen the movie Kahani.
Yes.
Yeah, that there was a assassin who threatened to push the girl into a train. So that character, I tried to recreate that character in this story, and I wanted to name him Ilaichi, but somehow it was edited by few people, so it came out like that.
That's interesting, absolutely interesting. And to bring such a powerful character in between the storyline is something very, very awe-inspiring as I see it. And also, you have touched upon some very sensitive topics in your story, like internationally sensitive topics. So, did you anticipate any resistance from the readers or from the public or from anybody else?
So in Indian subcontinent, we are not stranger to communal this problems, and there are a lot of stories that are there, but they are suppressed. They are pushed under the carpet. So these stories need to be told, okay, but it has to be told as a human tragedy, not as a communal tragedy. So I had always this thing in mind that however I describe the situation, however gruesome it shouldn't look like a communal kind of thing rather than human. And I don't wanted this book to be another logia. Okay. Uh, so 5 to 6 times I have to write certain chapters so that that communal tinge or that communal undertone is minimized. Although the plot is there, the plot, so it will be there. But when the people will read this book, they won't. I mean, I have beta readers from Pakistan also, okay, and from Bangladesh. So they didn't object to anything on the book. So I think that I didn't expect any controversy, although there may be controversy, and they say that controversy is good for a book to popularize the book. But I didn't expect any resistance or any controversy.
Yeah, perhaps a controversy should have kickstarted. That would have given you a lot of popularity and impetus to your book. But okay, this is also good that there was no resistance and nobody felt anything other way about it. So, viewers, I hope you are thoroughly enjoying this conversation. And those who are watching me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified. Keep posting in your comments. We would like to hear back from you. So, Mr. Kar, this is your second novel. And prior to this, I mean, this is a murder mystery, or you can call it a suspense thriller. And prior to this, you have written a novel in romance genre. So, just tell us about that as well.
So that was a romance. It you can call it a semi-autobiographical kind of thing.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, so that is called Thank You IR or Thank You Indian Railways. So while in Delhi, and we are from Odisha, so that time all the travel was done by railways, and you have a lot of stories while traveling from one place, because you have to travel 2 3 days. You have to travel from Delhi to Bhubaneswar or Cuttack, where I stay. So a lot of stories. So I weaved few stories and started, and some of the stories were mine also. So I did that book. Uh, I won't say that it is completely amateurish, but that time I didn't have an editor also. Okay, even that book is self-edited, and it was not in English; it was rather in English, Hindi plus English. Okay, I used to read a lot of Indian authors like Chetan Bhagat, like Ravinder Singh, like Durjay Gupta, and Nikita. So that book was like from those kind of readings. Uh, that is my first like book, so I love it uh, like anything. But again, that is a little bit amateurish.
True. Reading is an intelligent way of not having to think, and I'm able to see a lovely library behind you. You seem to be an avid reader of books. So, who are your favorite authors, and what are your favorite books?
Sir, as you see, I have a huge collection of books, and these books are not only by me; these are inherited. Okay, my grandfather, my father, my even my grandmother were voracious readers. We have books from, uh, if you know Bengali books like Pratham Pratishruti, and those kind of books. Although I can't read Bengali, but those are there because they used to read those books. So we had a culture of this literature and books in our family, and right from my childhood I was like surrounded by books. My I think I was only 5 when my on my birthday my father gave me entire collection of Amar Chitrakatha. Okay, so I was like it was all around me, about mythologies, about famous personalities. And that time, Amar Chitrakatha used to be in Odia also. And there was a book called Jannamamu, that is Chanda Mama, and that was a regular in our household. So from that, I started. Then I graduated to Archie's, Veronica, and those kind of things. Uh, when I came to school, we were exposed to, uh, classic literature from English, although simplified version. Charles Dickens, Julius Bond, Leo Tolstoy, all the classics. I think we had some 80 to 90 books in our library, and we finished it all. So then and again Hindi, let's say Gulzari Nanda and those kind of authors also. I was exposed to Gulzari Nanda and I'm forgetting his name, but there are a lot of authors I was exposed to. Then when I went to college, the first author that really cast my imagination was Jeffrey Archer.
Hmm. Yeah.
I read Cain and Abel first. Then I read all his collections. In fact, it is a characteristic that whenever I like a author, I read all his books, whether it is Ken Follett, whether it is Jeffrey Archer, whether it is Frederick Fawcett, whether it is Sidney Sheldon, Robert Ludlum. I read all the books. Okay, and uh, in Oriya we have an author called Manoj Das. Now he's a writer par excellence, both in English and Oriya. Okay, he passed away recently. His imagination, his writing. I mean, I feel he's the greatest storyteller, short storyteller. Apart from O. Henry, if you have read O. Henry,
Yeah. Yeah.
so after O. Henry, he is the best storyteller, short storyteller in India. In generally, I'm speaking about storytelling. So he is my favorite author. Recently, I like Amish very much, and there was a period, as I told you, I used to read lot of Indian authors like Chetan Bhagat and Ravinder Singh, Ravi Subramaniam, those kind of things. In between, I also read uh, Indian authors like Amrita Pitam, then Neeraj C. Chaudhary, and Khushwant Singh. Uh, those kind of books also I'm exposed to.
That's a huge array of authors and books that you have mentioned.
Yeah.
And likewise, you see, it is so interesting to connect with you, particularly today, is I was also gifted an entire collection of Amar Chitrakatha by my grandfather. I also subscribe to Chanda Mama Journal, that storybook every month. And when I grew up, there were hundreds of books around in my house, and that's how it just came naturally to me. Just so nice to connect with you on this. So, besides reading and writing, what are your other hobbies that take a lot of your time and interest?
Sir, hobbies. My hobbies like changed from when I was child. I had stamp collection and coin collection. We When I was in my teens, I was avid cricketer. So I used to play for like 7 hours, 8 hours a day. Then uh, when I got my first bike, then traveling has been my the best
Biggest
hobby,
passion.
biggest passion. And fortunately, I'm in a profession, marketing professor, where I get to travel, and I love traveling, especially to rural part of Odisha. In fact, I was a warrior, but till I joined a company called Srei Sahaj. They were into e-governance. Okay, they were setting up common service centers all across Gram Panchayat in Odisha. So I didn't know Odisha that much, but in this company I went to the and all the Gram Panchayats across Odisha. So traveling across the Odisha opened my eyes to a lot of beauty of Odisha. That is not only in Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Puri, or Raulkela, but small hamlets, and their stories, their food. I mean, even the dialect. Oriya, as you know, is spoken differently in eastern part and differently in southern part. In central part, it's told differently. So that is an interesting thing, and there are places which still is virgin to exploration. Okay, so we basically went to those kind of places, stayed there, and a lot of brilliant experiences that we had in that 4 5 years. Apart
And
from,
I'm
sir,
sure these places give you a lot of story ideas at the
yeah,
same
that's
time.
what I,
Yeah.
I was coming to that only, sir, because these experience enrich you. Okay, and there are a lot of myth about Orissa. Like there is a place called Malkangiri. Okay, although people may not know about Orissa, but Malkangiri, they would know that there is a Naxal problem, there is a those kind of things. But when I first went there, I found the people like us. I mean, there was nothing like that. Although there may be some problem inside, but I was there. I stayed there for 3 4 days, and it was a beautiful place. The food is good. The people are hospitable, and for say 32 years of my life, I was told don't go there.
A word
So
of caution that you did
yeah,
not take, and then
yeah,
you relished whatever you saw.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. So apart from, sir, traveling, the recent hobby that I have acquired is blogging and social media. In the Twitter is, that is a hobby that I have taken. I'm trying to minimize uh, the time I spend on social media, because it is taking a toll on you. A lot of hate things are
Yeah.
coming. Okay, and even if you don't want
Difficult
to,
to catch up with everything.
yeah, even if don't want to react, you semi-consciously react to it. So I'm trying very hard to control it. In 2012, I used to spend something around 8 to 9 hours on Twitter and Facebook and all. And that was the time when India Against Corruption movement started.
Yeah.
Uh, so we were doing a lot of things, but I have minimized it to 3 4 hours a day. I will minimize it again and do some productive work like writing more.
So, coming to writing, what is the next project that you are going to undertake now that this book is done?
Sir, I have this idea in mind, and in fact, I have written 2 3 chapters on it. Now, Odisha has been a favorite whipping child of the nature. Every few years, we experience a cyclone, flood, and those kind of things. So there was this incident that in the year 1999, when the super cyclone struck, few people went to Revensa College. There is a famous college in Cuttack, Revensa College, for giving their prelims for IS exams. And that day, the super cyclone struck. So they couldn't get out college.
You were trapped inside the college.
Yeah, inside the college. And they were there for 36 hours.
Okay. Now that calls for a story.
And then they got out of there, and they went in their different ways. But 4 people from different backgrounds connected, and they survived that thing. It got to 20 years. Another cyclone Phani is going to strike Odisha, and as the plot thickens, they come to be united once again. They are in different areas, different profession, but they come to Odisha again to be reunited, and it's a deja vu kind of feeling. So it is a like Jeffrey Archer's kind of novel, where people from different background come together, and then they get separated, and they again come to be united in a different way. So I have this idea in mind, and I have started the characterization, and first chapter of introduction of the characters is done. I don't know how it will, as I said, I don't think ahead. I mean, I don't plan the characterization or the story. So this is a story, let it flow. Let's see what it happens.
No, it is sounding very exciting and interesting with whatever you have shared. And what I have noticed is that how you play around is you take one real incident and another real incident, and then connect the bridges.
Exactly.
And in between, you bring in a lot of stories and characters. It's a nice and a beautiful way of weaving a story.
Yes,
so now coming to your proposed launch on the 19th of September, let us hear you make an appeal to our viewers of this channel to join you for the live launch. Let us hear you make an appeal for that.
Yeah. So if you like a crime mystery, then please join in on 19th of September, Sunday. I can assure you, you won't be disappointed. This is a story that is told in a most human manner about a gruesome crime, and you will be thoroughly entertained. So please be there.
And it is going to be right here on Sip and Talk with Vikram in our book launch section at 6:30 p.m. Sunday, 19th of September. Please mark your diaries right away.
Thank you,
Mr. Kar, it was such a pleasure having you on our show today and sharing insights about your work, about yourself, about your experiences. And I really thank you very much for sparing time with us.
The pleasure is all mine, sir.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Namaste.